This year, the United Nations turned 75 years old.
It emerged after a great time of disruption, the Second World War,
and is now a truly global organization.
A forum where countries can discuss the most difficult issues,
including how to protect the human rights of all.
Lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans, and intersex people belong here.
And over the years, the United Nations have truly contributed to advancing equality.
But this hasn't come easy.
In 1984, more than 1,000 LGBT persons marched
towards the UN's headquarters in New York.
They demanded an end to violence and to discriminatory immigration laws,
as well as declassification of homosexuality as a disease.
6 years later, in 1990, the World Health Organization, a UN agency, finally said it loud and clear.
Homosexuality is not a mental illness.
We still celebrate that day every year. May 17th is the International Day Against LGBTI Phobia.
Since that moment, the voices of our communities have never stopped being heard within the United Nations.
ILGA and more LGBTI organizations began taking the floor in UN human rights bodies. In 1994, a UN committee ruled that sodomy laws violate international laws.
1 year later, lesbian women were an important presence at the Beijing World Conference on Women.
In 2008, 66 member states openly declared their concerns about violation of rights based on SOGI.
Since 2011, the UN has continued to issue reports documenting human rights violations against our communities.
And over the years, activists have continued to speak proudly and openly in UN meetings, pushing for change on the ground.
In 2016, governments created a new UN human rights mandate, an independent expert on SOGI,
a position that civil society has strongly, successfully called on renewing for more years. This has been crucial to make states listen to our communities and better protect our rights.
And that's not all. The United Nations have made it possible for bisexual people to tell governments about their unique situations in a dedicated event at the Human Rights Council.
In 2018, the WHO finally ruled that being trans is not a mental disorder.
And the UN had its first report dedicated to gender identity issues. This year alone, LGBTI youth has been included in 2 key UN initiatives.
And 36 states from all regions of the world called on the UN Human Rights Council to urgently protect intersex persons and their bodily autonomy and right to health.
UN leaders consistently call for an end to violations against our communities.
And LGBTI people are included in policy planning across multiple UN agencies.
Together, we've come a long way.
So happy anniversary, United Nations.
And thanks for being the space to shape our present and future.
We are in this together.